Yeah, so just to brief the agenda for today's session, this is kind of a beginner tutorial for and beginner session for Puppet, but we will know end to end a simple a thing how Puppet works. So the agenda is to talk about what Puppet is, its components, its uses. We'll set up Puppet master and agents, and then we run some sample code, and then we'll also talk about Puppet as a code. Puppet is nothing but infrastructure as code. So you write some code, you write some script, and that's what automates your infrastructure. So we'll talk about how we can define classes, how we can define modules and templates in Puppet. There are a lot more things here, but probably these are the few important things, few mostly used things. So we'll talk about these in today's session. Okay, now if you think from a system administrator perspective, a person who is actually an administrator, his typical task is to install the servers, install the application servers, web servers, make sure the virtual machines are up and running, and then configure them. Now, when say configure them, you might install some services over there, maybe an SSH service, maybe some Nginx service, or install some packages over there, and then deploy the applications also. There could be set of database servers, there could be set of web servers, and big companies, like Amazon, Flipkart, Facebook. All these big companies have thousands and thousands of servers. Okay, so the job of the administrator is to ensure that every server is up and running, is up to, it has all the components that it needs to be installed. And many times an administrator has to bring down some of the servers, remove them, get a new one. Now, when they get new one, they again have to install all those things required packages for their applications to be deployed. Right. So there are a lot of these maintenance and then configuration changes. All those things that are typically a system administrator does. As a routine, right? Now imagine manually doing it. You write a shell script, or you log in into a machine, you write a shell script and then execute that shell script. All that is fine. Someone who is an expert administrator would be able to do that, but then it's not maintainable, right? So how do you ensure that the application of these configurations on 100 servers happen in one go, is completely automated, right? So let's talk about that. Now, infrastructure as code is a concept where infrastructure is your servers, your nothing but your servers and your networks, and these things are maintained by code. Okay, so some of the benefits is you can track, you can test, you can deploy. We'll not go into a lot of details of this, but obviously, if you write a code, your script file, and that is version control, you can track what are the changes that you are doing. Okay, if you test, and you can test it, if you have a script file, you can test it on the sample servers and then put it on the production servers. You can deploy your application, you can deploy these scripts. Okay, you can reproduce the if things are going not going well, your scripts are not running. You can reproduce by commenting things, removing the lines, and finding out where it goes wrong. And then scaling up becomes very easy. So if you have 100 more servers coming along, the scaling up becomes too easy here. Okay, why do you need configuration? Well, code commit log shows history of changes, so you will see the history of changes in the infrastructure. You update the version, or you remove this, or you added 100 new machines, or you added this service, you added this package. All these things can be, because it is version control, you can check that. Okay, reproducible steps, so do once and repeat forever. Once I have a set of script written, or set of module, in Puppet we say module written in Puppet. If you have 100 new servers, you need not to write those again, right? You just run a command, and you know it will be up and running. You can scale quickly. Okay, and then, okay, most important here on this slide is alternatives of Puppet. You have Chef, CF engine, Salt Stack, Ansible. So these are, you might have heard Chef and Ansible, some of the few of the prominent here, and these all do the same thing. They automate your infrastructure. Okay. Now, why Puppet? One of the oldest and most experienced, making scaling and managing infrastructure a breeze, tremendous capabilities, massive community of developers. So it's actually available in an enterprise edition also and a community edition also. So what we'll be using currently is community edition. Enterprise edition is also available, which is free up till 10 nodes. So if you have a server and file structure which is less than 10 nodes, you can use Puppet Enterprise also. Almost all the features are available. Just that enterprise will have few tools, few dashboards and reporting tools that may not be available in the community edition. Also, enterprise edition would always be that GA release and stable one. Okay, so let's talk about Puppet. The slide that we covered now was general, and you would already be aware of that. Now, Puppet is a configuration management tool. Okay, so it comes under this category of configuration management tool that is used for deploying, configuring, and managing a server machine. Now, the important here is a server machine. So, a machine could be a physical, a bare metal machine, or it could be a virtual machine, right? So, it's a machine which is ready, and on that you want to configure your things, deploy your services, deploy your applications, and manage it. Okay? So some of the features is controls all the steps right from bootstrapping starting of the server to the end of life. You want to stop the server or kill the server, or end to end everything that you do. So if you want to imagine what you can do with Puppet, imagine your own machine, imagine your own laptop. What you can do, what all you do, install and then configure and things. Everything that can be done on your machine is what Puppet can automate for you. Okay, it can define configuration level at a node level. I mean, what this means is you have thousands of servers, right? But 100 servers are web servers, and another 100 are application, another is database. So when I run a command, I can define that this script should only be applicable to the database server. So it will go to only those 100, and even I can specify at a node level that this particular script should run on this particular node. So it's at a node level. It can group, as I said, right, web servers or database servers, and you can group the servers, and that's how you can run. So one of the benefit of this is it maintains consistency across the node. So if a change is done locally, it can be rolled back. You can roll back those things. Now, what Puppet can do, some of the examples I've put here, there's a lot and lot more, but we have a limited knowledge on that domain side. And these are the things that I've figured out. So, install server, configure database, install and configure MySQL packages if you want, right? In fact, setting up your Maven XML, right? If you want, you can do that with configure with Puppet. Resolve the dependencies. So deploying your Mavenized application is also possible with Puppet. Okay, create users, set up users privileges, or edit the configuration file. For example, if you are setting up Nginx, and then there's nginx.conf where you want to manage something. So your first step will be to install Nginx, and second step would be to update that file and make some changes, and maybe then you deploy your application. So any configuration changes you want to do in a file in that machine can be done. Things like setting up the firewall conditions can be done. Run any custom crafted scripts, shell scripts, bootstrapping a machine, starting a machine there, or scaling up and scaling down. So a lot of these things, as I said, if you think of what you can do with your machine, can be done with Puppet. Okay, this is a simplest architecture diagram for Puppet, a very simple one. If you see the bigger circle, white one is the master. Okay, so it has a master and a node, that's it. So you have a master here, where within which there is a Puppet server that's running. Okay, and then you have three node machines. So these are called Puppet agent, where your Puppet agent is running. So Puppet agent will be running in nodes in your clients, and Puppet master or Puppet server will be running on your server machine. Okay, and both these are connected with secure socket layer. So there is a step of signing up the certificate, which once that is done, both these Puppet master and server are kind of binded with each other. Okay, so very simple architecture. And then you see here on the square part is like the configuration file. So for host 1, host 2, and host 3, you can define different files for different hosts and different nodes if possible, if required. All right, so let's get to knowing the components. So as I said, the first component is the Puppet master. This is the main machine. This is a machine which stores all your configuration files, right? So it contains all the configuration from different hosts, meaning from your different nodes. And Puppet Master will run as a daemon. It's a service on this master server. Now the server is a client-server model of Puppet. It compiles the catalog. Now there's a step of catalog here, meaning um, if the service starts, so we'll see those steps, but it takes the information from the client and it compiles it. When it compiles it, a kind of a catalog file gets generated. This catalog file actually is given to the server again, so the node again, and that node reads the catalog file and does all the things. So we will see those steps here, but the step that is a master and a node. Okay, when you start, when that the scheduling is done, okay, the time has come, master will ask for all the information from the node. And so it will take all the information, it will compile based on the file, and it will create a catalog. Okay, catalog is nothing but the catalog file. That catalog is compiled file, that catalog is given back to the host machine, the client machine, the node machine. That node machine now reads the catalog and does it on its own. Okay, so Puppet Master compiles the catalog for clients when they connect to the master. Okay, and then operates on a production grade web server or a Puppet server. So that's fine. Now Puppet Agent is again a service. It's a daemon that will run on all the machines, all the node machines mainly, which are to be managed using Puppet. So Puppet Agent will go and ask for the configuration for itself from the Puppet Master. Now see that, just connect the previous one, right? So Puppet Agent will ask that what I need to do when I connect. So Puppet Master will give the catalog to the Puppet Agent, and then catalog will be executed. So daemons running all on the client node connects to the Puppet Master to request the catalogs. Okay, applies the catalog to the node on which it is running. Right. The connection between the Puppet Master and agent is made by the secured socket layer encrypted channel that is called SSL. This is what I was talking about, the CA certificate. So when I set up master and agent, once for all, I will sign up the certificate for master and agent, and then that's it. All right. Now the automation occurs with this cron object, cron file, which is by default 30 minutes. Okay, so every 30 minutes your agent will actually ask to request master for any changes that we need or anything that needs to be installed. Okay, so this 30 minutes default can be changed, can be configured. If I want to apply forcefully, and if I don't want to wait for the 30 minutes, I can run a command on the node and get the required information. All right. So Puppet language is nothing but a scripting language, which is also called domain specific language, which is based on Ruby, slightly modified than Ruby. So even if you don't know Ruby, you can you can understand this Puppet language. Okay, it's written in the form of a manifest file called .pp extension. Right. So if I show you the structure where we have installed, there'll be a folder called manifest. Within that, I'll create a file called .pp. So it'll be site.pp, and within that site.pp, I write my code. All right. So the .pp files are compiled by the Puppet Master. Now, when I say again reconnect to that first slide where it said that Puppet Master compiles and creates a catalog. So what it compiles is .pp file. So whatever code that you write in pp file, Puppet Master will pick that up and it will start compiling. Okay, now this is very important, factors and facts. Now your machine, now what are facts? Okay, so if you just think about your machine has a host name, right? So if you type echo dollar host name, it gives the name of your machine, right? Your machine has an IP address. Okay, your machine has certificates that if at all those are configured. Okay, your machine has the CPU, your machine has the RAM, your machine has the processor. All these things are nothing but facts. Okay, so Puppet calls it facts, and all the agent machines has facts. Okay, so if I want to use, for example, the operating system is Linux. Okay, so if I and factor is a tool, factor is a software which actually gives you what are the facts that are available, the detailed information about the facts, and I'll actually run that, not to worry. But the point is, if I want to use some of the facts saying that if the operating system is Linux, then install this. Otherwise, if the operating system is, operating system is, let's say, Fedora, use this. So how do I? So what is how does that operating system come from? That operating system is a fact. Okay, it's defined in every machine, every node machine, and factor is a tool which helps you to fetch that out. Okay, so factor is a standalone tool which gets installed along with the Puppet agent and holds the environment variable. So whenever you actually install Puppet agent, your factor is installed there. It provides the facts about the node on which it is installed. Okay, facts are detailed information about the system, very simple, sent to the Puppet master for evaluation when compiling the catalog. And if you want to use that in the code, you can use it with this double dot variable name. We'll come to, probably we are not going to look at variable at this point of time, but that's how you can use it. Right, you see here facts. You can see when I write a command called factor in my node, all these things come up. So if you see here, you will see some of the known one, like the host name here. Okay, and then you have IP address here. Okay, you have um, kernel name here and the version here. So everything that is the fact of your hardware, it will actually show you memory free and memory usage and a lot of things over here. Okay, okay, so now okay, so I'll be shortly starting the demo, but my idea is to give you touch upon these things, because when we actually start, we'll be playing around these things, right? So manifest files. Okay, so manifests are nothing but a directory within which you have .pp files. These .pp are actually called manifest files, right? So .pp files are where you will write the code. So if you see Puppet program files written in DSL and named as .pp. Okay, contained in module. Now there's a concept of module where you create modules just to structure your that complete code. So you create different modules, and in each module you write .pp files, which will have different. For example, you may have a module for Apache, you will have module for some database application. You can write those in different modules, just to organize and ensure that it has different purposes. So contained in a module along with other components, and written in define by defining classes, types, and functions. We'll see what are types. Types are nothing but resources. Okay, so manifest consists of files, resources, templates, nodes, and classes. Okay, so within manifest, you can define files, you can define resources, you can define templates which can be used by the files. You can define the nodes and the classes. Okay, import statement in many. So okay, this is fine, but manifest in general, for now, just understand that manifests are actually the files where you write the code, and these manifest files are nothing but .pp files within which you will write your code. And what code you will write, we'll see. And you use classes and modules and types and functions, and all these are part of your DSL language. All right. So how does it work? How does Puppet work? So there are multiple steps involved whenever a Puppet agent of any node connects to the Puppet master. And there are three main steps. Whenever a client node connects to the master server analyzes the configuration to be applied on the node and how to apply that config to the node. For example, if you say, I want, when node when a new node comes to the master and connects to the master has to apply that node. So master will actually check the scripts that it has. Okay, and if there is anything that is specific to that node, it will go and install. Or if it is, there is nothing specific to the node, everything is general, that also it will go and install. So mainly, let's say if that node is a CentOS machine, okay, it will actually use yum to do that. And if that node is a Debian or a Ubuntu machine, it will use apt and apt-get install in order to install some package. Okay, so this just the idea of when it says it actually analyzes what that node is. And how does it know that? Because the factor tool in that agent will send that information, send all the facts when it connects. So now your master knows what all the details that that this agent has, and based on that it will apply scripts. So Puppet Master server takes and collects all the resources and configurations to be applied to the node and compiles it, make it a catalog. Okay, so once it analyzes, it will say, okay, these are the things that these are the scripts that I need to apply and applicable to this node, and it will compile and create a catalog and give that catalog to the agent. And then Puppet agent will say, apply the configuration to the node according to the catalog, and then reply back and submit a report of the configuration applied to the server master. Simple, right? So just 3 steps. When an agent connects to the master, master will master will analyze it. Okay, based on that it will check the modules and the pp dot, I mean basically it checks .pp files and checks which .pp file is applicable to this particular node. It will compile and create a catalog of all those .pp files and give it to the agent, and then agent will simply read the catalog one by one and start applying that. Okay, this is again just an architecture diagram here, very simple one. You have Puppet Master, you have 2 Puppet agents, and obviously this Puppet Master can be is connected to the repository. What does that mean is the script that you write can be version controlled. Okay. And if you see from on the node, you will have facts that comes from agent to master and catalog that goes from master to agent. All right. I think we have already talked about some of these things, but so how does it make sure it works? So as I said, this is possible because of factor, where factor will give the information. And I also said the example, if suppose the node is Debian, then to install a package, it will use apt-get install instead of yum. Okay, and you can get the IP address. You can do stuff like, if the IP address is this, then do this, or if all the facts that you get on the machine, you can use that as a filter if you want to just do specific, I mean use a certain script to that particular node. Okay, enough of talking. Now whatever I'll do, I'll actually show you the demo. So I think till now you should have got a very kind of clear picture of this thing. It's a very simple thing. It's a Puppet Master and a Puppet agent, where you install master in your Puppet Master, agent on a Puppet agent. Both are configured with SSL, and then whenever it connects, node will first send the facts to the master, and master will see what are the resources, what are the pp files it has, and what are applicable to this node. It will give the catalog, and then a node has to just execute the catalog. Okay. Now, as far as the installation is concerned, it can be Puppet Master is only it's a Linux based, so it supports all the Linux flavors. Okay. Also, you have two. You have Puppet Enterprise and Puppet Community. So both has slightly different namings. Otherwise, the steps of installation is the same. Okay. We will not go through the installation, but I'll just show you the steps that I took for the installation, the brief steps. So again, these are the 3 steps. Install Puppet Master and Puppet Agent. And let me open this so that I can actually show you what I did here. So if you want to install in Puppet Ubuntu, right? Your first step is installation. So install Puppet Master and on Puppet Agent. This is my first step, where I ensure that there's no firewalls. Obviously, in a local environment, there won't be any. But then you get this wget and then depackage it and then apt-get update, and that's it. So sudo apt-get install Puppet Master or Puppet Server. So, and then if you see Puppet version, you will get the Puppet. So these are the steps. These for the first point, right? So if I come back here, first once you install these packages, then there is some configuration that you need to do. Edit the host file and the Puppet configuration file, because in the agent you got to mention who is your master, right? So to put it very simple, that's what you would do. So if you see here, I'm changing a /etc/host and /etc/puppet.config. First of all, here I'm on the Puppet Master, I'm mentioning that it has the the domain name or the machine name. And then on the agent I will actually add server here. So server is the name of the server, Puppet server. And on host also I will add the IP address and the host name of the client and the server. So client will already be there available. I'll just have to add for the agent here. Same is the case with, and there's one more configuration that on the default start as yes. Okay, so this is your second point, where you have etc slash host and etc slash puppet slash puppet.conf. These are the two things where you got to update and change that. And the third one is the signing of the certificate. All right, so now what I will do is, this first is already taken care of and some part of second is also already taken care of uh, uh, with my image. Okay, so I'll just be running the image now, and you will see those images already will have Puppet Master and Puppet Agent installed. And then I'll just make some configurations here and then generate the certificate for both of it to start running. Okay, and beyond that I will actually then talk about so uh, I'll talk about the language basic and the resource type. So then we'll be actually doing the demo. Okay, so first let any questions till here. All right, so let me move ahead. I have this here. You can see my screen and just expand this a little. All right, now if I see Docker images, you will see I have created these two images here, Puppet Agent and Puppet Master. Okay, these images are also available here, uh, uh, hub.docker.com. So if you wish, you can download from here also. So you have Puppet Agent and Puppet Master. Okay, I've uploaded here. All right, now before I start, this Puppet is nothing but the company name is Puppet Labs. All right, so you have this Puppet Lab here, and this is a company which is managing Puppet. And this Forge Puppet Forge is nothing but a central repository of all the predefined modules. Like you have a Docker Hub for Docker containers, you have Maven for Maven repositories. You have this Puppet Forge, which has a central repository for all the predefined modules. Okay, that means some code that is already written. Okay, all right, so now let's get started. I'll be actually running these things now. This master and agent are actually all these steps. So I have actually this first step and some of the second step. Okay, so installing the package and everything. So let's get started. All right, so what I'll do is here I'll say docker run dash it pmiserwala slash puppet master colon 1.0. That's it. Okay, I'll give a name as Puppet Master. Okay, now you see your Puppet Master is there. So now this is the my name of the computer, name of the VM that is created. If I say Puppet double dash version, you will see the Puppet version available here, right? 3.8.7. So now Puppet is already installed, and I'll create another tab, and I'll say docker run dash it pmiserwala slash puppet agent colon 1.0, and I'll name as node 1. Okay, I'll create another one and just I'll say two nodes here. So tab here and say docker run dash it, name is node 2, and pmiserwala slash puppet agent colon 1.0. Okay, so there are two agent machines, two nodes, and one master. Okay, now you can have multiple masters also. You can have clustering setup, and there's a tool called M Collective, which is available for with Puppet Enterprise, that will help you to manage that cluster, and you can configure the load balancer, and all that thing can happen. But here for now we will have one Puppet master and two Puppet agents. So if you see this, let me just rename this also. So I'll say puppet master, okay, and I'll say node 1, and here I'll say node 2. So I have node 1 and node 2. In both these nodes, if I type puppet version, okay, you will see the version available here, right? So the installation is already done. Now let me just configure a few things here. So I'll go to my node 1 first of all. I'll say vi/etc/host. Okay, open this file, and here you will see this 172.17. So let me see the IP address of this. Ifconfig, and the IP address of my master is here. So I'll have to put this IP address here, and I'll go to my agent machine, uh, insert IP address, and then the name. So this name I'll take it from here. Obviously in your live environment you will have some domain name, okay, or you will have a name called puppet master for the machine. Because this is a Docker container, it gives this name, which is simple to use. So I'll just use this one. Okay, so this host file is updated, and now I'll go to vi slash etc slash. Okay, now before I do that, why I'm using slash etc, because when you install puppet, it gets installed in slash etc. So you will see a folder called puppet here. Okay, so you say cd puppet, okay, and just clear this. I'll say ls-l, and you will see some of the files here, where for us where what we have talked about is manifest, modules, and templates, and puppet.conf also to some extent. But but mainly we'll be working on manifest, modules, and puppet. Okay, you can also define your environments here, which is again another topic. But I can define my modules within this, and my manifest files within this. So these are two different concepts. I'll show you that. Okay, and templates I can define it here. All right. So so that's why I'm using, and then I'll have this puppet.conf file. Okay, this puppet.conf file is also available on the agents also. So I'll go to my agent. I'll say puppet and say puppet.conf file. Okay, here I'll go to my, so you see in the agent, um, okay, in the agent, I have to define the server name, right? Now this name is the one that I defined when I created the original image, and that was a different container. So I'll just say my server name is this. All right. So if you see here in the agent, first of all, I said I went to that agent and say server name is this. I comment temp dir. This is already done. Okay, and etc host I did, and then I'll just check this etc and default one. So I'll just go to vi/etc/default slash puppet. Okay, and here start is equal to yes. Also I've already done. So no need to do anything here. All right, now the same thing I'll do on my node 2 also. So before I do okay, let me do that, and then I'll restart everything. So vi/etc/host, and this is IP address of host is already here, node 2. I'll just say 172.17.0. What was it, 2, and then just copy and paste the uh, name of my master. Okay, so in both the nodes I am saying who is my master. That, to put it very simple, that's what I'm doing. Puppet and then puppet.conf, and here also I'll just go to this agent section and paste the. So I'm telling him that my server is actually uh, this one. Done. All right, now what I do is just restart first of all. So I'll say service, okay, puppet master, stop. So it will stop, and then puppet master start, right? So you say starting puppet master, and you will see here that puppet master started. Go similarly, I'll just restart here also. So service here, the command is puppet. Okay, so slight change there because this is a puppet agent. Stop, and then start. Okay, if you see this is okay, then it has started properly. So service puppet stop and service puppet start. All right, so your second part, just verifying what your etc and host, that is done. I'll just now create a certificate. So here what you got to do is uh, uh, right now, if I on my master, if I say puppet cert list, this is a command to list down any pending certificate that are available with this machine. Okay, so you will see these two. You see here 99cc, this one. Okay, 99cc, and then another one is 5b. So the moment I restarted, it actually sent the certification request. Okay, your agent sends a request to certify itself with the master. You can also do that. If you don't find anything, you can do that with puppet agent dash t. Okay, this will also send the certification request. Currently there is no certificate here. You see here, there's no certificate right now. So, and here also puppet agent dash t stands for testing. Okay, now what I will do is, because the requests are already available, I'll just sign these certificates. Okay, and these two, I hope you would know, these two are the names of my node. So I'll say puppet cert sign and just copy and paste this. So now one certificate is signed, and then you will have another one. Okay, and now if you type puppet cert list, obviously there is nothing pending. And if you say double dash all, you will see all the certificates that are signed with this particular machine. So you will see there are some other pending ones of the earlier ones which I have not deleted, but fine. So but you will see these two plus sign means it is actually it is signed. Okay, yeah, here let me just clear and then run this. All right, so you will see this 99 and 5a. So this 99 and 5a, which are the recent ones, these were earlier ones which I created, I didn't delete it. And then plus sign means it's actually certified. Okay, here if you say a puppet and say cert and then fingerprint, अच्छा, oh, okay, I don't remember that. Yeah, no, puppet agent, sorry. Yeah. Puppet agent fingerprint. Okay, you will see this this fingerprint 343F1, and here you should have the same one, right? So if these two are same, that means it's configured properly. So just to verify, you can do that, right? Now this configuration is done. Awesome. Now what I will do is, okay, so my installation is set up. Now let's get started with what you got to do next. All right, so so all right, now this language basics overview, I won't get into a lot of details because we have already talked about classes and resource types. We'll actually now go on installing that, right? So puppet language.pp extension is fine. Okay, resource type, these are the most important things. Okay, I mean, you have the working unit, like your Docker, the working unit is the container. Your working unit actually are images, right? You create images and that you define as containers. Here the working unit is resource. Okay, it's very important to understand what is a resource. Now whatever you have, again you have your own laptop machines, right? Whatever you can think of in your system actually is a resource. Just to give you an example, all the files that you have in your machine is a resource. You may want to create a file, delete a file, configure a file, change something, that's a resource, right? File. So you work on a file, you change something files, you install software, you install packages, so package is another resource. Okay, you install services, so services are your resources. You create users, users are your resources. Okay, you can notify with a message on the machine, so notify. So there are a lot of other resources, and if you want to see the list of resources and the attributes of it, I can actually quickly show you that. So I go to this here and I say puppet resource types. I'll just mute everyone for now. Okay,
Everyone else is now muted.
So if you see this page, docs puppet resource type, okay. Now why this is important? Because every code that we write, okay, every code line that we write actually is on one of these things, right? For example, I may want to create a file, so I'll use this file as resource type. I may want to install a package, so package, I'll use package as a resource type. I may want to run some service, maybe an SSL service, an HTTP service, I want to start that, so that service is a resource type that I will use, right? So all this, and these are the mostly used things. Execute, you can execute a command, file, package, and notify and service. These are the mostly used, but otherwise there's there are a lot more. All the services that you can do, if you want to run some cron operation, you can use this service. So there's a lot more that you can do. For example, if you want to create a user and then create a group or change a group here, you can use group as a service, a group as a resource type, right? So these are all the resources that are available, which can be manipulated by Puppet. Simple, right? So I'll go here and okay, right? So if you see, the way you write is type title, that means resource type, just give a title, and then you give the argument, okay. So let's get started. uh, okay, let's get started here. Now what I want to do is, this is where we'll start the demo, okay. By the way, so my master and two agents are updated, okay. I'll just clear the screen, and every 30 minutes. Now I actually don't remember, but you can change the configuration if you want, maybe 10 minutes, 5 minutes, but every 30 minutes by default, agent will actually check with client what is the configuration file, okay, what are the configuration that can be applied. So otherwise, if you want to run manually, you can say puppet agent and dash t. This is the command to run manually and forcefully go and check to the master what are the configuration that got to apply. So in our demo, we'll be using this one. So now what I will do is, see, my first example is I want to create a file. I want to create a file in both the nodes. My file name is, so I'll write this particular module here where I say my resource type is file. Okay. So let me get started here. So what I will do is I'll go to my master, because this is where I will write my scripts, and I'll go to my manifest folder. Okay, in this manifest folder you will have a default, actually, when you install first you won't have any site.pp, but because I already created earlier, I know it's there. I'll say vi site.pp, right? This is the default file anyway. I'll just remove the code here, okay. If you don't have this file, create a file site.pp and start the code. Now if I want to write something here, as I said, every so your site.pp is actually where your code applies, okay. Right now we are not getting into classes and modules. We will just see a very simple example. It's like Java hello world, right? We have not created a inheritance or classes and all those things. So I'll have to use one of the resource types. So I'll say I want to create a file. So I'll use this file as a resource type, and I'll give a name, and I'll say slash etc slash test file. Okay. Now there are two ways. If you do like this, it will actually create a file here, okay. And otherwise you can also give a path here. So you can say another argument as path, and do it here. But that's fine. We will actually just check this one. All right. Now so you can create a path here, or now you can create a content also. Now if you see, I'll just go to my the website here and go to the file service, this file service here. I click on this, okay. So this file is a resource type, and it has certain attributes, that means certain arguments that you can define, and these are the attributes, okay, in which you can define the content. So what is the content that I want, these are the contents, the desired contents of the file, right? So I'll actually use this one, content, and equal to an arrow. Okay, now this is the terminology that the convention of writing the file. So I'll say good morning everyone, right? That's it. Now this is a very simple example where what it will do is, whenever I run this, whenever this agent requests here, okay, first of all I have not defined any node here. Okay, so this is to be applied on every node. Otherwise I can actually, will come to that, I can apply a node here also. Node is let's say 99AC. I'll come to that later, but I have not defined any node here. So this script is meant to run for every, so if at all we wait for 30 minutes, okay, both these people, both these agents will send a request to the master of what needs to be applied. It will actually check all the pp files, and there's only one pp file right now wherein it will actually find out the code. This is the code that needs to be applied. There is actually no node that is specified, so it's actually need to be applied on every node, and then it will go through one by one. Okay, so the type is file, that means it has to be created. Okay, I can also additionally write some, it also takes by default, but I can write something like ensure and is present. Okay, I can also have another one which says that mode. Now what is the file mode? File mode, I'll say 0644. Now this mode is nothing but your normal file is 0644. If you have a exe file, a binary file, which it has the different mode. If the file is a symlinked file, it has a different mode. So 0644 stands for a normal file here, right? I can actually give permissions here. So owner is equal to someone, so I can do a lot of things here. All the attributes you can see in my page, this website. You have content, okay, you have which group it belongs to, who is the owner of this. I can do all those things, right? All right, so I think this is enough for me. Ensure will ensure that if it is present, if it is not present, it will create a new one. Okay, fine. All right, I'm done with this. Now first of all, before I run anything, let me check if this file is present here. So the file name was test file, and in an etc. So if you see lmnopqrst, so there is no test file right now here, right? So neither here cd slash etc, neither here. So now if I run this, I should get a file here, right? So now if you see uh, my uh, uh, my manifest has one file, that's site.pp. So let me go to agent, okay, and instead of waiting for 30 minutes, I'll just say puppet agent dash t, or you can also write double dash test, both are valid. So when I do this, now agent is actually sending a request here. See, retrieving the plugin. Okay, it has failed because there is some, you cannot specify more than one the content source target site.pp. Okay, let me check. So vi site.pp, and oh sorry, so there's a spelling mistake here. Present, I am say present here, and now I go back here and clear this and just say puppet agent t. It should run. All right, so you see here caching the catalog, so it's now getting the catalog, and after reading the catalog, it's applying the configuration version. That's an internal version that it has, and then it gives that this test file is created, ensure means created, and catalog is finished. So if you see these two messages, that means it has run properly. Similarly, I'll now if I see here ls, I'll see the test file here, okay, created, and cat test file will have the content that I would placed it. Similarly, right now that content is not here, obviously, so isn't here, no? So I'll just say puppet agent dash t, and this also should run. Okay, now if you see here ls, you will get a test file here, right? So that's one of the simple example that you have. Now you can have number of examples. Now I can actually install git here. All right, so let me have another example mentioned here. So I'll install git on those versions. Now right now if you see on my agent, if I type git version, it's not a git command because git is not installed. All right, and I want to install git on both these tools. So one of the package that we all know, and that's why I'm using this. So if I go to vi site.pp, okay, I'll remain this. So my one of the resource that I'm manipulating is file. There's another resource type, package. Now why that package? Because I want to install a package, and that's why it's package. Okay, and then I'll say package name is, I can give any name here, git, okay, colon, and here I'll say, okay, if you say ensure is installed. All right, I can also, I can, sorry, okay, now here I can, every package has a provider. Now what does that mean is, provider will be, if I say, I know it's a Ubuntu machine, I'll say app. Or if it is a, if it is a CentOS machine, I'll say yum. But then, your Puppet Master will already identify that thing, so you need it, this is not mandatory, but it's a good practice if you want to do that, because if you have a large server and different categories, it's always better to provide a provider. So every package will have a provider as an attribute. Now if I go to my website also and show you the um, attributes of the package, I go to package here, okay, and you will see a provider, right? So you say provider here and you get the name, and you can say ensure it is present. Okay, so now and there are a lot of other things, but these are like, your name is the name of the package, and ensure is, it will actually ensure that it is present. If it is not, it will install it. Okay, and the provider will can provide what command to use, what is the operating system, and how to install it. There are a lot of other things here which you can see later. So here, if I go, I say name is, I'll just say git. Okay, so this is the name. I mean, when I write in my command prompt, I write apt get install git, right? So this git is the name that I have to give here, the name of the package. Okay, this helps with the provider, and ensure installed will actually take this one, right? So I'm actually just converting this command into a file here. Obviously this is a Ubuntu machine, so if I give yum, it will actually fail. So let's check it out. Let's try that. Or maybe if it ignores yum and kind of takes up the apt-get here, and I'll close the brackets. Okay, so save and quit, and puppet agent dash p dash t, sorry. So it's retrieving the information and the catalog, and okay, now see this, it actually identified, because I specifically provided a wrong one. It said provider yum is not functional, because that's the command that it uses to install. So I'll just go to site.pp, and again just change it to app. And as I said, even if I don't provide, it will take by default. Save, and now you go here and apply. Okay, okay, here it will take some time because it is installing. So meanwhile, I'll just apply here also. Just a little more time, won't take a lot of time here, but it's actually installing that git package, and that's the reason. Okay, so it's done. So you see the package git is also installed. Okay, now if again I type here git version, so now it's available, right? Similarly, it's installed here also. Okay, so if it is now imagine if it is 100 or 1,000 servers where you got to install this package, and if you have scheduled for that 30 minutes, uh, you write the code and then you're done with it. After 30 minutes, it will be replicated on all the machines, right? Okay, so so that's one example, and I had a couple of more here. Okay, now there's an example of Nginx, where I can say Nginx package and a service. So because Nginx gets installed as a service. Uh, okay, there's a chat here. I cannot unmute myself. Yeah, because I had muted everyone. So I'll stop here for taking some questions. I'll unmute everyone, and you guys can mute
Everyone
yourselves.
else is now unmuted.
So just mute yourself. Whoever is talking can unmute.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for it. Yeah. Yeah, right. So no, just wanted to know whether you are executing all of these things on your own local machine, right?
It's in a Docker container.
Or you are on AC2?
It's in a Docker container.
Oh, okay.
So
So Docker container on your machine and you are executing all of these
yes,
things,
yes,
correct?
yes. What I actually
So you have several Docker containers.
yes, and this Docker container has made life very easy. Otherwise, every time I used to start a virtual box, I used to create a VM using
Mm-hmm.
Vagrant, and then I used to manually install and then
Mm-hmm.
ensure that everything is up and
Mm-hmm.
running. So and every
Mm-hmm.
time there was some error, and then I wasn't able to do that. So so
Okay.
this is nothing but a VM that I'm running,
Okay. Got it.
which is pre-installed.
Got it. Got it. Oh, thanks. Thank you.
Okay, any other question, Jaidat, Shivani, any other?
Not for now. I'm just trying to grasp whatever you're teaching.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, all have dropped actually. There are just three in the call.
Aha, yeah, I saw a few more, and then now I think only three. Yeah.
No, I'm there. Yeah, Jayadar did send a message that he has some work, so he is dropping off, and then we will catch up with the recording. So let's continue.
Sure.
I and
Hmm.
Shivani are very much there on the call, and we are
Yeah,
listening.
sure. Yeah, so all in all, I mean, I think to get a crux of what Puppet is, it actually automates the deployment, installation, configuration of your servers. Simple, right? So you already have
Mm-hmm.
virtual machines,
Mm-hmm.
with some basic, your operating system. So one thing to note here is your Puppet will not create a virtual machine. Okay, your Puppet,
Mm-hmm.
so for if you want to create a virtual machine, you have to use tools like Vagrant, or maybe tools like Docker, where Docker will create a container virtual machine, and maybe Vagrant will give a actual virtual machine, right? So so
Right.
use
Parvesh.
yeah,
So yeah,
go ahead.
yeah, I have a question, Parvesh.
Mm.
Yeah, right. See, I mean, coming back to the same question that we used to debate on, some couple of months back, that okay, so this is not a tool which will provision a number of servers. So you mean to say there are other tools which will configure the server, not configure rather, just simply spin servers,
Yep.
and then Puppet is the tool which will provision those servers and get all the other applications that you want on those servers installed automatically. Correct? That's what it says.
Yes.
That's how it is. Okay, so now once maybe I have set up EC2 instances and stuff through some other tool. After that is done, can't I can't I install Kubernetes, or can't I install Docker or something else through the same Puppet tool across all of these machines? Will that be possible?
Yes, you can do that.
I mean, does that make sense?
Yes,
Yeah.
you can do that.
Okay.
In fact,
Okay.
I mean, what I have done is using Docker. I have installed Puppet. Okay, using Puppet
Mm-hmm.
also, you can write a site.pp, and there is a Docker module available. So if you want to install Docker
Mm,
in, let's say, 100 instances,
mm,
you
mm,
can use
mm,
Puppet,
mm.
and all those 100
Yeah.
agents will be connected to the master, and it will read the
Mm,
site.pp, wherein it will have a module which actually installs apt-get install Docker, right? So
correct.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's just that your Puppet happens to run in yet another Docker machine, but it's just that Puppet is running somewhere. And then with Puppet, you may just start installing either Kubernetes, or you start installing
Anything.
Docker, whether
Yeah.
100% you want, you can
Correct.
install things on these
Correct. And
machines, correct?
if you want to
Yeah.
just imagine the capabilities of what Puppet can do, imagine what you can do on your own machine, right? Can't you install
Okay.
Kubernetes on your own machine? Can't you install Docker on your own machine? Yes, that means
Correct.
using
Correct.
Puppet I can do that, Okay, the benefit of,
It's just that machine creation cannot happen through Puppet.
yes, I cannot spin up a new machine with Puppet, because it needs a
Okay.
machine where Puppet is installed. Okay, it's actually configured, and then it just automates the configuration and installation on thousands of servers at one go. That's the only that's
Okay.
one benefit of all the configuration tools, whether it's Chef or Ansible,
Got it.
you know. So you can use
Got it.
maybe
Got it.
combination of Vagrant and Puppet, or things like that in your organization. So
Fine. Thanks. Thanks. Got it. Got it. Super. Thanks.
okay. So now, um, so similarly, this example actually installs Nginx package, where I can write, I go vi. So we'll not do that right now. Maybe we still have a lot of time, not much time here. But
One last point.
yes,
Parvez, one
yes,
last
yes. Go
point,
ahead.
please. Yeah. Okay. So can I imagine a use case for Puppet wherein I need to conduct trainings every month, say for example, for 20 participants, different 20 participants, and I do not want them to use their local machine, but I want to provision some set of machines, and based on whatever training program I'm conducting, I want them set of 4 or 5 tools to be installed on all of those machines. Correct?
Yes.
And I can write one single script in Puppet, which will just simply install everything that I need on those respective machines, and then I give access to those machines to my participants. Make sense?
And where are those machines available?
On EC2, on Amazon.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, that you can do, or I would suggest,
Yeah.
for training purpose, the best is Docker. Okay, what I am doing,
Okay.
the next training that I have of Puppet. Okay, what I
Mm,
have done, I'll be using these images. So I'll be installing these images. Now the benefit of these Docker images is it can be installed on any Windows machine also. Okay, so these
okay.
guys will, so whatever configuration that you have, for whatever things that you want to, let's say, install on any virtual machine, you install that as a Docker container
Mm,
and create an image once for all. That's it.
correct.
The benefit of that
Got it.
is you are not dependent on whether on an Amazon server something will go wrong or not, right, or something will work or not. So,
Mm.
and then you don't want to,
Okay, listen.
yeah. And then another important,
Yeah,
another
yeah.
benefit is, if
Mm,
you have
mm,
10 participants, you will have to use 40 VMs,
mm,
if at all have to do separate,
mm,
right? So you will have to have 40 instances, where for one participant, let's say there are 4 instances, then they are kind of manipulating that, if you want to keep separate environment for all four, all the,
Yeah, so when you say Docker, if I've got 20 participants, that means somewhere I will have 20 Docker instances running, correct?
on their own machine. You don't need ACP,
Oh, okay,
because
okay, okay.
very
Okay,
lightweight.
okay, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I got it, I got it. Yeah. I'm sorry, my bad.
Hmm.
Got it. So I will just simply create a Docker image
Ah,
and I will ask their infra team to install Docker on each one of those
that's it.
machines,
Yes,
correct?
yes.
Okay.
And you know that Docker installation is not a huge step. I mean, just running a command, you install Docker. That's it,
Hmm,
right?
hmm, hmm.
And then say download the.
Very true.
I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing
Got it.
is,
Got it.
if they are new to Docker, you might have to just kind of give a 10-15 minute overview that this is what it is. You need to understand. That's it. Otherwise, So maybe that you may
Okay.
do that.
Yes. Correct.
This,
Got it. Thanks.
yeah,
Thanks,
this
Saroj.
takes up a lot of
Yeah.
pain
Got it.
of asking them to set up VM, and they're connecting the VMs, and we installing in every VM. Okay, and yes, with Puppet I can do
Hmm,
that.
hmm,
I can
hmm,
but then again, the problem with Puppet is not a problem. But if you're stopping and starting the VMs again and again, every time you start, you have to ensure that the
hmm,
certificate is up and running. So you have to go to every node
hmm,
and ensure the
hmm,
certificates are done, right? So that's
hmm,
anyway a
hmm,
manual
hmm.
step.
Yep. Yep. Got it. Thanks.
Okay, so similarly, see here, if for a package, I say a package and then name nginx, ensure installed, and I'll obviously use a name here. So name is nginx, right? And that's how it is. And then once nginx is installed, because nginx gets installed as a service, okay, I'll have to start the service. So I'll say service nginx. So it will identify the nginx package, and then say ensure it is running. So it will then this will identify any installed package of nginx and make sure it is up and running, right? And this is a command to verify if nginx is installed and running or not. Right? So actually we'll not use this. I want to give some time to classes and modules also, right? Okay, now these are the okay, what we'll be doing is now these are the primary entity, primary elements which we execute in our agent machines. Okay, these are the actual working people, these guys, right? Whatever I do now is actually a wrapper on top of it. They are not people who are actually working. It's like, these are hardcore developers. Okay, and now whatever I'll teach you will be project managers and project coordinators and CEOs and those people, right? So now we'll be talking about classes and modules actually. So how I can categorize my these working guys into classes and into modules, and how to reuse them. So all right, so now classes has I can define a class. Classes is nothing but again a block of code. Okay, I can define a class. There are two ways: defining and declaring. Okay, so defining a class and declaring a class. So you see here, first example, I define a class called ntp is again a service, and I say package. Now within we see what I'm doing, I'm actually defining a package. So what it will do, so maybe I can use git also. I mean, if I say class called git, I can say package git and ensure it is installed. So this is definition. If I just keep on defining this, it will not be executed. In order to execute, I have to declare it somewhere. Okay, and who would know better than Shakir? So declaring a class means the resource in it to be managed. Now I have to declare using three ways. I can say include function, okay, or require function. Now this function is nothing but a class name, or I can use a resource like syntax, meaning include ntp, include maybe git, require git, or class and say git. Right, now where do I write this? This I write in my site.pp, because that's where I will write the code. So I'll give you that example now. Okay, now before that, I want to give an example of this class and a module also. Right, now module is very important. When actually you work on Puppet, you all the time you create modules only. Okay, and within module you write your code. So module are nothing but a way to bundle and distribute a Puppet code. Okay, for example, if I want to install specific packages for git installation, I'll create a module called git, and that's where I will write. If I want to install something called Apache, I'll not install in site.pp, I'll not fill everything in site.pp, I'll create another module, right? Because in an organization I have thousands of servers, I cannot just bundle one site.pp and install everything. It's impossible to manage. So you create modules for each of your specific type of installations, or specific type of resources that you want to manage, right? So you just bundle that. It contains the code. So in your manifest, your module will have manifest file now. Okay, and modules are Puppet find these classes and things like that. So if you want to create a module, you say Puppet module generate and module name. Okay, and a module is a directory tree with a specific layout. I'll show you that layout. But now by default, I'll show you here. By default, uh, this is a default modules that for a folder that is given, right? So I say cd modules. Currently there are no modules here. I can write my modules here: module 1, module 2, module 3. Okay, now this is a default, but there's something called module path. I may want to define my module here also, cd slash etc maybe, or cd slash usr. Maybe I want to define my module here. Okay, mkdir module 1. But how will Puppet pick up if at all this is a customized, this is something other than this default location? Okay, in that case I just have to define a module path here. So Puppet apply module path and the path name. So I can actually now this I have to define in puppet.conf. So this is the place where I will define my module path if they are staying in different locations, not in this module setup. And when an agent actually connects to the client, to the master will find out all the site ppt file and all the modules file from all the locations that are defined in puppet.conf, and it will actually compile and try to run. Right. So just FYI, but will be actually creating modules here only, so not to worry. So I'll just go back to cd slash etc slash puppet. Okay, now okay, now what is the directory structure? If you see, this is the very common directory structure where you say it will have a manifest file, right? So if I go back here and ls-l, this is the default manifest. Okay, now if I don't provide any module, okay, if I don't write any module, I will write everything in this manifest. But if I actually create my own custom module, I will write it here. Okay, I'll create a module here. Also, I can in Puppet, most of the modules are given in forge.puppet.com, puppet.com. If you see here, like you have Vagrant boxes, like you have Docker Hub boxes, you have modules available here, right? So all these are modules. Puppet Lab infile and post GRE the module for post GRE module for GitLab, module for SSH. So these are all the modules. If you say GitLab, you will see some manifest file here. I've not gone through this, but you can install this. And anyway, we'll not get into this. I have not explored much here, but see, this is how they have defined the classes and everything, right? So we'll come to that. But these are all the modules, predefined modules available, which you can use in your organization. If you want to create your own module, for example, I was talking about this Apache, right? So there's a predefined module called Apache here, right? And then so let's come back. And if I create my own module, let's say I'll go to cd modules. First of all, I'll say mkdir. Here there is nothing first of all, so I'll say mkdir module 1. Okay, cd module 1. And here is where I will start creating manifest, files, templates, lib, whatever I want. Okay, so first of all, let's create mkdir manifest. Okay, cd manifest. Okay, now in manifest, what I will put? My pp file, .pp file. If I'm defining any templates, I can do that. If I'm defining downloading any plugins and using that, I can use lib file and a lot more other things. Okay, so let's get started and create an example. So what I'll do is I'll create a sample module, okay, and create a manifest file. In manifest file, the default pp file has to be init.pp. Okay, so for example, like in this manifest, the default manifest, the file is site.pp. If you create your own custom module, there will be one file in manifest that has to be init.pp. Okay, if I give you the order of it, there's one order I've written somewhere. I deleted or what? Just a second. Okay, maybe I've removed, but the order in which come back here first of all. Yeah, the order in which this Puppet will look at is, first of all, whenever a client connects to the master, it will first check the site.pp here. Okay, and then in the site.pp there will be mentioned about modules. So it will go to modules and check the modules. In the module, it will go to this module 1, and then it will check init.pp. In the init.pp, again there will be maybe some other references of templates. It will go to the templates one, right? So that's how the hierarchy is. So let's do this. I'm creating a module here, and I'm creating a file here, right? So within my init.pp, okay, I'll create a file. So I'll say a class. Okay, let me just first of all copy and paste it here, and then I'll define a class. Okay, by the way, all actually I showed this command also, right? I showed this command, puppet module generate. This is the way we can do, or I can do it manually also. Both are fine. Okay, so I'll actually go here and I'll say class. The class name has to be same as the module name. So I'll say module 1. Okay, and file, the title of it is Perry, and then path is etc/Perry file. The content is and another okay, I'll just say okay. So this is some content here. Okay, so I'm now this is actually defining a class. correct? So in my init.pp, I'm defining a class, and now I want to declare that class. So what I will do is I'll go to my site.pp, which is main. So I have to include that somewhere. Cd manifest and vi site.pp. Okay, here if you see, okay, I can define the node. By the way, it's just default means every node will be taken, and include the class name. Okay, so I'll just copy this and paste it on the top, and include my class name is module1, right? That's my class name. That's it. So what I've simply done is I created a module. Within module, I just created an init.pp that's required, so within manifest, and I just defined a class there which actually creates a file, right? You can do a lot of things there, and then this include will execute that one, right? So I'll just say save here. I'm done with it. I just go back to my agents. I'll say puppet agent dash p. Okay, by the way, even before I do that, you know what is template? um, cd puppet. Ah, okay, you know this content I have actually hard coded here. Okay, I can, instead of refer to a template, which we will see in just next example, that will be the last example. But instead of writing a content here, I can create a template from where the content will be taken. Okay, so this is a file. Now what I will do is I'll say puppet agent dash t. If everything goes fine, there is no error there, it will execute and create a file called peri file. Done. So it has created a peri file here, and I'll say cd slash etc ls. You will see a peri file here, right? Get peri file. Okay, similarly, if I say puppet agent t here, it will create a peri file here also. So this is just another way, this is just the way you will define your classes and modules. There are a lot of other things, variables. There's it's very detailed and very comprehensive, but overall you will define modules. Within modules, you will have your manifest and all those things, and each of the manifests you will define classes which can be used at other location. Okay, so that's one thing. And then templates. Now templates are nothing but .erb files. Okay, it is with an extension .erb, which is actually used with files resources. All right, so it's typically used by files resource type. So in order to do that, let's use the same thing in my instead of creating another module, I will use the same module, and I'll create a template directory here. So I'll go to my module here, and I'll say mkdir template. Okay, and here I'll create an erb file. So I'll say template.er. I can give any name. Okay, template.erb, right? And this is where this is the content of file resource from template. So this is what I'm putting. Okay, so now I've created a template here. Okay, cd module1. I've created a template here. So what I will need to, okay, I created outside. I can create outside also inside. I'll just have to give the path. That's fine. But the structure is I have to give inside. So I'll say mv template.erb to templates slash. Okay, so it's moved inside now, and I'll say cd manifest. I'll say vi init.pp, and here is the content. I'll say, instead of saying hard coding, I'll say it will bring it from the templates. I'll say template, and you said, you know, that's it. So here I'll say slash etc slash. Now there's a way to show. I'm just hard coding this with a full path. But if you define a variable, I can shorten this path also. You can just define a base path with a variable and use it here. All right. But I'll just say puppet modules slash modules module one and templates and template.erb. Okay, so what it should do now, it should create a file and take the content from this particular template. Okay, it actually see it is giving a diff here, like it is giving in git. Okay, it is saying that this is removed and this plus content is added in the file. Okay, so now if I say get query file, it will give me, it's giving the content from the template. Okay, so that's how you will be using a lot of these things. And there's a lot more. If I just give you a heads up here, where's the puppet type? You can use a lot of other resources here. Each has some. If I want to create a user, and if I want to create a group or assign a group, if I want to change the password or give some privileges. See what happens is, let's say you want to install Jenkins in 10 different machines, right? You will first have to create a Jenkins user, give it the sudo privileges, make sure it has rights to to create a .jenkins file, and then you got to install it. So all these steps can be defined in a puppet file. It will actually install Jenkins, create users, and then assign privileges, and then run those packages and start the service also. All these things can be done in just one file. So I'll create a module of, let's say, Jenkins, and put all those things um, as a code in .pp file. Obviously, to further organize my code, I'll use classes, and even inheritance of the classes also supported. So I can include class from a class, that also can be done. So all these things, and then that's how I'll be able to automate my Jenkins installation. Okay, I think we are done with this short demo. So any questions, I mean, in general?
Not from my end now.
Cool.
No, it's going good. Parvesh, thanks.
Okay.
It's going good.
Okay. All right. So I think I'll stop the recording. I think we are done, and